a lawyer who has his own company with 20 to 30 lawyers, Factum Legal. So we have Mr. Arun Gupta, who will talk about the legal aspects when you want to register a company in India. I mean, now many of you are working on your startups. So some people are very serious about it. Some people are not serious about it. But when you really want to make a startup, you need to be serious about it. And the first thing that the barrier or the requirement is the legal aspects. And Arun is an expert. He already helped us in the first hackathon. So we now covered with European Union a bit. And normally we were supposed to have the legalities of Europe, but since we have only Indian students, we thought we will have only legal aspects of India. So that's why we invited Arun here. So Arun will tell you all, like, private limited, public limited, and foreign investments and all these things. So Arun, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward for your presentation.
Okay, so thank you, Jagdish, thank you, Manoj. Thanks to Dare to Start hackathon. This hackathon, I participated last time also, so I really enjoyed participating in this event, and maybe I had a couple of few calls post the hackathon also with few of the participants. I get to know just now from Jagdish that generally most of the participants are Indian students or Indian budding entrepreneurs, or they are looking for doing something in this ecosystem of startup in India. So maybe because we have a bit like very short time to discuss this thing, so I'll not talk a lot which is not relating to subject. I'll directly jump onto the subject and brief you a bit about setting up a business in India or setting up a company in India. Before I really go into the nitty-gritties of legal formalities, one of the important point I'd like to highlight is that, maybe any of you have noticed or not, there is World Bank actually release a doing business all over the world ranking to the various, maybe about 190 economies. So India in 2014, out of those 190 economies, in 2014, India's rank for doing business in India, that means ease of doing business ranking, was 130. That means India positioned 130 in 2014. And today, that means in 2019, the last report of 2019, India reached to 63. So there's a big jump of more than 70 points or 70 rank in India's position. So that ranking jump itself shows that there is a lot of change which happened in India in terms of doing business in India. Like when we say doing business means setting up of companies, setting up of purchasing lands, taking electricity connection, tax registrations, all these actually define how convenient or how easy for anyone to do or start any business in India. So government of India is doing a lot of work on this continuously. Something has been achieved, something is pending, so that's an ongoing process which every economy, every government is supposed to do. Jagdish, are you sharing the presentation or should I try? Or let me try.
You can try, Arun. You can try. You're a co-host. You can share.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, Arun. It is.
Okay. So startup, maybe in 2016, even our Prime Minister of India actually brought a startup policy in 2016 itself. That in 15th of August 2016, they announced that they will create a good infrastructure or ecosystem for startup community in India. So maybe if I'll directly come to the setting up of business. So these are the broad structures, legal structures available to any upcoming entrepreneur or maybe any existing entrepreneur to set up or to start their entity of doing business. Few of them are applicable only for Indian residents. Few are applicable for whether Indian resident or foreign resident. So like for example, if it is a sole proprietorship firm, so sole proprietorship firm can be started only by an Indian resident, Indian citizen, not by a foreign resident person. So I touch upon each and every structure in brief for all of us convenience. And maybe Jagdish, I should leave last 5 minutes for Q&A.
Sure, Arun. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the most common way of doing business in India even today's time is private limited company, right? So private limited company is by its name showing that a company which is with the limited liability of the promoters and privately held among family members or friends or maybe siblings, whosoever like would like to do it. So it's a very commonly used and very old structure of doing business in India. You can raise funds in a private limited company. So, for example, anybody wants to raise funds from any venture capitalist or angel fund or private equity, whatever. So they generally prefer private limited company structure to invest funds. So this is the most acceptable mode for any investments. Also, it is like you can offer ESOPs to your talent. Also, private limited company offers you this talent. One of the another important part which is not part of this presentation, but you know that generally in startups people would like to have differential rights. When I say differential rights, I mean promoters have a different right, investors have different right, even if they are shareholders in a company. So private limited company gives that uh, opportunity, or the structure allows you to have differential right among the promoters and investors also. As far as registration formalities are is concerned for a private limited company, it's quite convenient now. First important part which I'd like to say is that it's all automated. Like there is no manual intervention when you want to register a company in India. You need to file every document, each and every document in an online mode. No physical office interaction, no visit to the office of registrar of companies. And to be very frank, in India it's a centralized place of registration of a company. So whatever be your registered office in India, whether it's in Chennai, whether it's in Kolkata, whether it's in Delhi or Mumbai, wherever, government has just opened one office that is a back office too, not a front office. So nobody need to visit to that office. We just need to create some login at government mca.gov.in website and prepare all the documents and upload all the documents at the government portal. If government has any query on the document, they put their query on the transaction ID generated on that portal. We need to reply to that query on that transaction ID itself, and then the company gets incorporated. So no bureaucracy, no involvement of any person. In a simple term, what we require to register a company, you should have minimum two shareholder, minimum two directors. It may be same people, it may be different people also. All the people who are going to start a business should have their KYC document. When I say KYC document, that means their passport, their ID proof, their address proof, their utility bills for their existing residential proofs. All these should be available for them to be verified by the government while you are forming a company. You need to draft a document called Memorandum of Association and Article of Association, which is a very important document. It has to be drafted in a proper manner, because this is a constitutional document for a company, that how the company will run, what the company can do, is everything is being stated in this document. The templates are available in the government portal also, but somebody can modify the template as per their own need. And a very important part of any registration of a company is the selection of name. Selection of name is a bit regulated in India. You can't just choose any name and get your company incorporated. It is a bit regulated. There are certain regulations which you need to follow while choosing a right name for this. But once you have your name, your company, no other person will be able to register a company which is identical to your name or very closely resembling to your name. So selection of name is very important, and selection of name actually connects with the trademark registration also. So you should choose that name for which you can, one, you can get your company registered. Second, you can get your trademark registered, because at the end of the day, that name is something which will gives you brand value, which gives you mileage in the market. So you need to be very wise while selecting your name, because generally people choose their domain names for starting their business. So domain name is different and company name is different. You can have different domain name, different company name. If you want to have same, just be sure that whatever name you are choosing, you will be able to form your company in India also, because sometimes you may not form your company immediately. You may be researching for a couple of years. So, but this is a very important because it's a bit regulated. It's not very open that you can form your company with any name, whatever you want. And it doesn't take much time to register a company in India. Once, if all the documents are in order while filing with the government, it may take 2 to 3 working days to be done. Sometimes it happens in one day also. So it all depends upon how many people have applied, because it's all online process mode. And as far as government cost is concerned, cost is also not much. You can the minimum fees, I'm talking about minimum fees for registration of a company in India is about just to maybe less than $100, or maybe about 6 to 7,000 rupees for registration of a company in India. That's a government fees. Maximum it depend upon the size of your company. Say you are going to form a company with 100 crore capital, so obviously you will have to pay higher fees to the government. But minimum you can start with the minimum capital of say 10,000, 1,000, whatever you want to do it. So quite easy, quite fast, quite convenient now. One of the two nitty-gritties which you need to see is that a proper drafting of memorandum and article of association, and appropriate decision while choosing a name of the company. These are the two, as an entrepreneur, you need to take care of these two things. Rest can easily be handled because all those are procedural affidavits, ID proofs, and all those procedural documents. So if I talk about another, which is public limited company. So public limited company is almost similar to private limited company. As far as I'll not repeat the registration process. Registration process is exactly same. The public limited company is generally those companies who would like to raise funds from public at large, like publicly listed companies, listed at NASDAQ, listed at Hong Kong Stock Exchange or Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange. Generally, those people who have dreams to register their companies on listing, they form this company. However, any company which is registered as private limited company can be converted into public limited company at any point of time. So that option is also available with anyone. Limited liability partnership is a hybrid structure, which is a combination of a partnership firm and a private limited company. So private limited companies are a bit regulated in terms because there is a law called Companies Act. So you need to follow the law while doing business. Limited liability partnership is more governed by the partnership agreement between the or among the partners. So it is having a benefit of a limited liability with the compliance ease, or maybe the benefit of doing business as per their agreement, not as per law, because law of limited liability partnership is very limited law, but it doesn't say a lot about the regulations that what you need to do, what you need not to do, right? And in a limited liability partnership, you can have a different ratio of what say there are 3 partners, everyone contributes one third in the form of capital, but they can define their agreement that they will share profit in the ratio of say 50%, 25%, 25%. So you are flexible enough to change your profit sharing ratio and capital sharing ratio. Process of registration of LLP is almost similar. Here people are called as partner. In private limited companies, owners are called as shareholders. So this is a terminology difference, but process is same, name, registration. Here there is no memorandum and article of association. The important constitutional document in limited liability partnership is limited liability agreement. So because you govern, you run your company as per your agreement, not by the constitutional memorandum and article. It also takes not more than 3-4 days to register this, and formation cost of limited liability partnership is even bit lesser, may not be more than 4-5,000 minimum for this. However, if it's a big size, then you'll have to shell out more. Generally, LLPs are being used by MSMEs in India. Generally, if you have a dream, you have a plan to raise foreign funds into LLP, people generally don't prefer it because there are some restriction under foreign direct investment norms on LLPs, which are not there if you register your business as private limited company. So for domestic business, this is a good tax efficient company, tax efficient structure to run your company. But for normally foreign funded businesses, it is being accepted, but it is not very much, like you can say, popular way of doing business. Partnership firm is simple. Partnership firm, you really just draft an agreement, start doing business, nothing else. Just sign an agreement, start doing business. No registration required, nothing. Execute a contract and start your business. Take tax registration and start your business. Sole proprietorship firm is also just take tax registration and start your business. No separate registration for running a sole proprietorship firm. One person company is only for Indian resident, that's not for foreign resident, and that is a private limited company with one ownership. Okay, otherwise a private limited company should have minimum two shareholders or two owners, but one person company is a private limited company with one ownership. Certain compliance relaxation, rest everything is same. I'll briefly touch FDI also before we'll move to some Q&A. FDI is a very important part for any startup business, because I understand that startups work on a lot of ideas, a lot of new innovations, a lot of new technology changes. So there is a big ecosystem over the world where people invest on the people, on their ideas, or on their innovations. So foreign direct investment in India is primarily divided into three parts. There are few sectors which are prohibited. That means there are few sectors in which you cannot raise foreign capital. There are few sectors which are regulated. When I say regulated means you can raise foreign capital, but there are certain restrictions. Maybe restriction may be in the form of, say, maximum foreign capital. Say a company, say for example, defense, you can have maximum foreign capital up to 74%. Say multi-brand retail, you can have maximum foreign capital up to 49%. And then third is permitted sector. When I say permitted sector, that means you can raise your foreign capital as per your choice. So generally it is in the commercial language, it is called as automatic route also. So these are the three sectors, and there are two routes of doing business or bringing foreign capital into India. Is one is approval route and one is automatic route. When I say approval route, that means you need to take approval of the government of India before foreign investment. When I say automatic, that means you can just form your company, ask your foreign partner to send money in India in the company, and then you can use that money. So these are if there is automatic route. So for example, prohibited sectors are lottery business, gambling. So this is a very small list of prohibited sectors. Apart, except these sectors, all other sectors are either permitted or regulated. So that means they are not prohibited. So this is a very small list: chit fund, gambling, lottery business, trading in TDRs, activities not open to private sector investments. It's a very small list. Regulated like telecom, defense, retail trading, pharmaceuticals, NBFCs, insurance, publishing, private security agencies. These are few regulated sector where there are certain conditions attached to your foreign direct investment, or you need to take approval of the government of India before raising foreign capital for your business. Permitted sector, when I say all technology related businesses are permitted sector. No restriction. When I say no restriction means no restriction. Just you can ask your foreign partner, he'll send money and money will be credited in company's bank account. You need to do some reporting to the Reserve Bank of India, the federal bank, post receipt of foreign exchange, post receipt of capital. Because say for example, any manufacturing business, any consultancy business, any service provider business, any tech-based business, all these are permitted sector with 100% FDI. So that means anyone who is a foreign resident can also, without taking Indian party as a partner, can form this. That means 100% foreign capital can also be used for registration of a private limited company or LLP in India for those sectors which are permitted sectors. This is fine. I'll just briefly talk for 1 minute for startups, because there is a specialized startup policy in India, and government of India recognized startups as startup and has given a lot of benefits to such startups. Benefits in the form of tax rates, benefits maybe in the form of ease of compliances, benefit maybe in the form of fast track registration of trademarks, or fast track closure of businesses, or maybe raising funds in the form of AIF, and various other benefits to the startup. So anybody who qualified to be called as a startup as per startup definition need to take a permission, need to take a certificate from Government of India saying himself or itself to be a startup entity, then they are entitled for such benefit. So a good ecosystem is going on in India. I mean, you all are like anyway following it. That there's a lot of benefits are there. A lot of big, you can say, unicorns are already there in India in this thing. So I think I would like to hear from you any question which you have so that we can, then I can finish my presentation. I'm opening any Q&A, any question any of you have to be raised.
Thank you so much, Arun. So guys, feel free to ask your questions. I mean, I'm sure there will be a lot of questions. And also students might be thinking, what is this private limited, public limited, everything? But trust me, guys, you need to know all these things. At least have it in your back of your mind. At one point, you'll need these things. So feel free to ask questions.
So thanks, Arun. Let me ask some question. So Arun, are there any kind of a tax benefit for startups, for example? Do you know about such thing when we register?
Yeah, there are. So for example, in this slide, startups are allowed to sell income tax exemption for a period of 3 consecutive years and exemption on capital gain investment over fair market value. So basically, I'll not rate wise, there is no benefit. If you are a startup, the tax rate is similar. Tax rate is low for manufacturing companies. So there are different categories. You may be a startup with a manufacturing setup, then you have a benefit of getting a different tax rate. But other benefit is in terms of say not at the time of investment, at the time of transfer of your shares. So whatever capital gain tax liability will arise, there you get the tax benefit.
Right.
Although government don't want to give a lot of tax benefits, this is the always a debatable point that how much tax benefit is to be given. But still, if you'll ask among the startup community, and to remain as a startup, your turnover should be less than 100 crore.
Okay, that's a very important point to be noted.
The moment you cross that, you have to leave all the benefits. Then you are no more a startup as per definition.
Is there any special benefits for students when they register a startup?
No.
Within a startup? Okay.
No.
Okay. Good to know that. Jagdish?
Yeah, excellent. I see no questions there, but Arun has given his contact, his email address is there, his phone is there, and he's also very active in the startup sector. He's not only dealing with the private, like the big companies, he also sends some of his companies to us, like in terms of advice or something. For legal advice, Arun is the best person. So take his contact. At least in future, 1 or 2 years, you'll definitely need his help. So once again, thank you, Arun. Thanks for joining us. And we will also soon call you at one point because we also need to discuss few things with you.
Yeah, anytime. Looking forward. Best of luck, good wishes, and hope this hackathon is going very well. Today is the last day for this. Hope everyone is enjoying this hackathon part. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Yeah, sure.
Bye bye.